Hello, everybody. Konnichiwa, mina boku wa Jeremy desu. Yoroshiku onegai shimasu. And once again, we're back to a Let's Talk Eurovision video. This is the last set of 5 songs to be released, and now we have the full gamut for Eurovision 2023. Very exciting. And I think this is the most videos I've done covering a Eurovision year so far. And I've really only been into it the last couple of years, so there's a lot of things that I'm still learning. One of the things I want to address is in my last video, I had mentioned a song by Jamala, and I called it 1966. I apologize, it's 1944. I just got really, really excited in the moment talking about the stuff, and I didn't think. And I'm still learning a lot about Eurovision, and so if I get things wrong, I apologize. I don't mean to, it just happens on occasion. So, let's dive right in and talk about these things here. So, the first song is from Portugal, I Coração by Animé-d. Now, I will say, I own every single one of the compilation Eurovision albums, the official ones from 2001 to 2022 so far. Still waiting for the 2023 one to be announced on the website. I've tried reaching out to several sources to see when it's going to come out because it's normally up for pre-sale by now. Nobody's getting back to me. It's infuriating. But I'm sure it'll come out eventually. So I have listened to a lot of the countries, a lot of the songs, pretty much every song from 2001 at least onwards. And I can't think of any specific Portuguese one that stands out to me. 2017, the winner that year, I didn't care for. Lois, I don't remember the name of the song, but it was so slow and boring to me. 2018 was okay. 2019, I think that was the Telemovies one. Very disharmonious in its sound. Very, I don't know. It wasn't quite my thing there. 2020, okay. 2021, with the Black Mamba, like, I didn't care for the song, but I liked what they did with the sepia tone to start off with and then go into like the color. That was really, really well done. And Saudade by Maro last year, again, I didn't really care for it. However, blah, blah, blah. Getting all tongue-tied here. I have listened to all 5 of these songs, just like I have for my other ones before I do the reactions, to get a full feel for them, because I think just a couple of clips here and there, you can't really get the feeling for it, but if you listen to the whole song, and I will say, I really, really like this song. So we're going to start off by going into it here. Ai coração. I love this because it's so fun. It's very energetic. You have like a flamenco style song. There's a lot of Spanish song or like infusions to quite a few of the songs. Even the UK song this year by Mae Muller has some in it. Flamenco, fado, cabaret, like you could see the cabaret influences and burlesque style, the costumes, the performance aspect of it, marcha, and folk elements as well too. And I think that this one is one of the standout ones this year. I would say it is one of my favorites. I could see this one totally making it into the grand final and probably even a top 10 finish. It's so much fun. We'll see what they do with the staging too, but so far the coloring is great. The red and black, I've always loved the color coatings or the combinations of red and black together myself, and there's a lot of emotion into it and just energy, and I really, really applaud that performance. Plus the staging looks really, really good. Now, I don't know, I haven't watched the national performance or like the national final for Portugal, so maybe that was just the generic staging that they used for all of them, but I like the cogwheels in the background too, and the whole thing suits this performance here, and I really, really appreciate that. So let me just find where I am here. I have so many windows open on my screen here. All right, so Animé-d, Ai Coração for Portugal. I really, really like that one so far. Now, we're going to switch over to Azerbaijan, and I will say that one of my contemporaries, in terms of another YouTuber that I like to watch that does Eurovision reactions. There's quite a few of them I like to watch, but this one in particular, because she's in I think she's in Texas actually, but in the States. And of course, I'm in Canada. She's in the States, and her reactions to some of the stuff, it's hilarious. We have very different music tastes as well too, but I love watching her reactions to things. And she's obsessed with Azerbaijan, and she's like, Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan. Just the way she says it is so funny. You have to watch her. Her name is Favor International. That's where she does the Eurovision stuff on. She also has a Patreon because people have been asking her to react to the full songs, and of course you get dinged on YouTube if you do it. I mean, even with my stuff, sometimes I'll get a pop-up that says that there's copyright stuff, even though I'm talking over the music. But usually they let it slide, especially with Eurovision stuff. Not all the time, mind you, but I also try to keep the volume down as much as possible. So you can look at any of these videos at the Eurovision Song Contest YouTube channel. So if you want more context to them, check them out. This is more or less just I'm playing the music as I'm talking about them, so to kind of get my thoughts going. Now, this next one here, again from Azerbaijan, features twins, and this is the third set of twins, I think, in Eurovision, because we had Jedward from Ireland in 2010 and 2011, respectively. I think there was Russian twin girls, I think, one year. I can't remember which one. And now we've got these gentlemen from Azerbaijan, and the song is called Tell Me More, and it's Turan or Tural Turanex. I'm not sure how you pronounce their name, but right off the bat from this one, like in the first little bit here, after this specific part here, you'll hear right here, that chord progression and stuff, and the way that this song is, it just immediately brought up a memory for me of like the 90s, and I'm like, I know I've heard this kind of sound before. So I was thinking about it, trying to remember words from what one was stuck in my head. And then we have a radio station here in where I'm from, and so they do what they call the retro lunch, where they play 80s, 90s, and 2000s and stuff. And actually the song that I was thinking about just the other day is Sixpence None the Richer, and the song is called Kiss Me. Like, listen to this here. You can kind of hear that guitar chord thing there. Yes, it's a little bit different, but it's still got that same sound to it. And let's go back to the other one here, just after right here. Like, you can hear that, right? Anyway, so Kiss Me by Sixpence None the Richer is what immediately jumped into my head, even though I didn't know that was the name of the song. And really the similarity is just there and at the end of the song too, but the rest of the song is different. You kind of get like a Brit pop, like, 90s Brit pop sound to it. Okay, now I guess the song does sound the same as Sixpence None the Richer, like the general music line throughout most of it. And people have been saying that Norway's song, Queen of the Kings, is also sounds like another one, and Melodies of Hope, which was my choice for Germany, people were also saying that one sounded like another song. But the way they sing it, like the way, well, he's rapping now, but the way he raps and the way that they're singing stuff is very different from the Sixpence None the Richer song. And again, there's only so many tunes, melodies, things like that can be used before things end up getting reused. And who's to say that the sample that they're doing there, it wasn't paid for or okayed by the original band? Who knows? I just know people are super quick to jump to the theory that, oh, well, this is a copy of this. And okay, well, I mean, again, they may have gotten the rights to use it. I don't know. So that one, I prefer, for Azerbaijan entries, I prefer Mata Hari and Cleopatra, Cleopatra, the way that you have the ra. And by the way, sorry, this is just a thing I'm going to say. I keep getting told that that's a weird thing that I can do that, the r rolling of the tongue, that not many North American people can do that. I don't know if it's because my family lineage is Russian. Like, my dad's side was 50% Russian. That doesn't mean that I approve of what's going on with Russia right now. I'm not impressed about that whole thing. Russia, I mean, we're not going to talk politics there, but I'm just saying, you have the rrr, and Dad used to teach us some Russian although I can't speak it to save my life. I can speak more Japanese than I can speak Russian. Um, I try to start counting in Russian and it ends up going in, even with when I try counting in French, which is taught in Canada, I kind of devolve into going into Japanese. That's just how much more I speak Japanese on a day-to-day thing. Not that I do very much, but I do it more than I do French. So there's a weird little anecdote that means nothing to this video. I forgot where I was going with that. But okay, so this song, not my favorite. I personally would not put this in the top 10. I don't think it would be at the bottom either, but I think it's more of a mediocre middle for me, just personally. It's okay. I guess we'll see what they do on stage at actual Eurovision. Like, it's one thing to be watching the music video and have all the visuals and stuff in the background, but seeing a live version of it, and seeing what they actually end up doing. I mean, ultimately, it's what they do on stage at Eurovision that counts. So even if we see a live performance somewhere else, even right now, it doesn't mean that that's going to be the same thing at Eurovision. And a lot of the time, that's what people are going to be watching, sometimes for the first time, and voting based on that. So hopefully they can bring something interesting to watch, and because it's as much the visual appeal as it is the actual vocals and the melody and just what the audience is feeling at the time. So okay, after Azerbaijan, we are going to check out the Greek entry. Let me just switch the window over here. Now, the Greek entry is Victor Vernikos, What They Say. So let's go over to that one here. Now, straight off the bat, if I didn't have the subtitles here right at the beginning, I was having trouble understanding what he was saying the first time that I watched this. And my immediate thought was My Galileo by Alexandra for Belarus in 2004. Now, luckily, as the song goes on, you can understand him better and stuff, but there's just certain ways as he's singing, like stylistic choices, like when he says up, ayup, instead of up, ayup, is what it sounds like. And I guess English is probably his second language. I assume Greek is his first language, which is fine. But it's just, it was just weird. Like right at the beginning, all I could think of is, oh no, this is going to be another one of those instances where hopefully he can enunciate better on stage. But as he goes along, like, it makes more sense too. And again, this is the studio version because it's a music video, so it's not a live, but we'll see how he does live. Again, it could be another situation like that, but his English does seem a lot less broken than hers was in 2004. So this song I would place on the same platform as Ireland or the generic kind of boy band songs that we've been getting this year. Like, there's a lot of them out there, even though he's a solo artist. And it's not a bad song, and I'm not meaning it as a bad thing, but I think when you look at where they're placed in the semifinals and stuff, it's really it always kind of matters because it's only 10 from each semifinal that get to move on, and there's always going to be people in the lower end and always people in the higher end. This one's going to be kind of on the cusp of will it make it or will it not. It's just kind of generic, really, to me, personally. But I also have very different music tastes than a lot of other people do in Europe. So obviously, case in point, Portugal winning in 2017, that would have been one of my lower placed songs that year. But again, that's just me. Anyway, so not a bad song. It's got great visuals in the music video. I can't see them having the rain actually on stage unless they do something, if they have something set up like Celine Dion would use, like when she did My Heart Will Go On. But having it just for one performer, and I mean, it really just depends on what they do. I'm hearing that the Liverpool Arena has very, very limited ability, which is a little strange to me. Like with Lorene's entry, they're saying that the Liverpool Arena cannot hold her staging, like that thing that she has, the platform and stuff, which is unfortunate. So hopefully they can come up with something different for it or lighten the load, I guess. But who knows? I guess we're going to see what happens when Eurovision actually comes, and probably in the lead-ups and like all the jury shows and stuff before the actual semifinals and the grand finals and stuff happen. So, but this one personally is kind of a middle of the pack song for me, I guess I would say. Okay, moving on from Greece, we are going to go to Armenia. Now, this song here was one of the last ones to come out. We just got it, well, 2 days ago at the time of recording for this one here. And last year, Armenia had a song that didn't qualify for the top 10 in the grand final, but it was an international hit. And that, of course, is Snap by Rosalind. This year for Armenia, we have Brunette with a song called Future Lover. And so going into this, like, I was like, okay, it's a slower kind of song. It's, you know, I do like that they have the orchestra in the background. Then it changes into this. She's got those giant bells. I'd love to see that on the Eurovision stage. But again, after what I've just said about Lorene's staging, depending on how heavy they are or what they have, like, I don't know. It'd be neat to have that element in there as well, too. Whether they're actually real or if they're just CGI'd, but it looks like they are real. I bet, again, you can do a lot with video editing and stuff this year. But this song's all over the place, and it's definitely one of the standout ones here. And I love the orchestra because that's what Eurovision used to all be about. You had to have the orchestra in there. Nowadays you don't. But it really adds a unique element to this song. And I don't know. I really like it. It's quite an emotional song. She's a very good singer. She's a good performer. It's going to kind of depend on what the staging is like, what the performance is like too. And again, it's one thing to be doing a lot of movement on stage or in a music video when it's already studio recorded and you're just mouthing the words to it, compared to when you're actually on stage performing, which I've talked about before, like with Leslie Roy in 2021 and a few others over the years as well too. Italy's another one, like last year. The vocals were so bad by Mahmoud and Blanco. It was just, they were not able to sync up properly for whatever reason live, although the whole arena was singing with them, and that's awesome. And I can appreciate how difficult it is to perform some stuff live, but you go from the music video to the live performance and it was just so vastly different. And they weren't even moving around that much. Blanco was, but it was Mahmoud that had the problem. His vocals, for whatever reason, just didn't match up. They didn't harmonize as well as they had before. So this song is a standout one for me here. And then finally, the last song to be released, and one that a lot of people are divided on, honestly, whether it was worth the wait, as some people say. I mean, whatever. Every country does, you know, some release theirs early. Bulgaria was the first one last year. Bulgaria is not in it this year. I forget who was first this year, but either way, the order that it happens is, I think it's different a lot of the time. But Georgia is the last one this year, a song called Iru by Echo. And let's just go over to it here. Actually, I got to switch my window. Sorry, the program that I'm using, I have to change things up a little bit here. There we go. Echo. So this one here... Unpopular opinion. So, okay, the English, the grammar, the sentence structure of the song is very weird, and I compare it to English. Now, I have a Japanese radio show on Sundays for 2 hours, which I've done for over 17 years now. I have a Eurovision radio show, which I've been doing since 2020, for an hour on Fridays. And there's this thing called English. And with J-pop, J-rock, Japanese songs and stuff. And a perfect example of this one, what popped into my head, is a song called It's Our Good Day, Bokura wa Good Day by Megumi Hashibara. And in the middle of this Japanese song, she goes into what I call like an English rap. And it's not even really a rap. It's presented as one. And it's silly, and I love it. I absolutely love it. Don't get me wrong. But this is what it sounds like. Yo, rappin' happened you. I'm gonna catch some fish. You'd better watch out. We're gonna grin and more. That's really quite a flavor. For you can't make me do it. You don't know anything. Whoa, you're the T-Rex. Don't be a rapid. Ups, don't you have the time? Don't be a rog roll. It makes no sense. It's just a bunch of like English put together. And when you look at the subtitles of this one, especially in the song, there's certain elements of it where that's exactly what it is. It's kind of all over the place. There's added words in there, and maybe it's because English is the second language for this person. Like, okay, that makes sense. I've got big faith. Love is my crown. Okay. Will be better day now. We'll have better ways. It'll be better days. Something like that. Like, I don't know. I'm not gonna come too hard on it. Like, this song is another one of those ones. It's a strange one from Georgia, and Georgia does like to experiment. Even though this one has a more, what would you call it? Maybe contemporary, more what you would normally kind of hear. Like I could hear this on the radio, perhaps. Um, but like just the general sentence structure and presentation of it, the music's amazing, the dancing is great in the music video, so if they bring that on the performance, I think that'll really help it. But like it just reminds me of English, which again I love. So Georgia does send some very different entries like they did last year with Circus Mircus. I can't remember the name of the song. Oh, hold me in, hold me out. Something, is that the name of it? Hold me out, maybe. I'm probably wrong on that. Something like that. Uh, and the year before, You by Tourniquet, is that his name? I didn't like that song at all. I'm sorry, that was the bottom of the barrel for me. That one would have been my like lowest entry. It was just utterly boring. He had a good vocals, but just the presentation of it, even on stage at the grand final, it was so boring. But then again, I found Barbara Pravi's performance of Voila also very boring and very repetitive and very much like Edith Piaf style. So, and yet it came second. So again, my opinions are very different than what a lot of the Eurovision public like. Okay. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention about Armenia's song. Most of it's in English, but there are elements which I'm assuming are Armenian language as well. And so dual language stuff, that's always interesting. You got to be careful with it sometimes, though. Look at what happened with Guilty Pleasure from, I think it was Croatia last year. She did English and Croatian. However, Ruslana back in 2004 with Wild Dance is still my favorite Eurovision song of all time at time of recording. When she did it live, she did it in English and Ukraine as well. So Ukrainian, and it worked out. So I guess it's more or less just how it's presented overall. So of these 5 songs here, definitely the standout one for me is Portugal, which I'm really happy to say because, as I said before, I'm not usually a big fan of Portugal's entries over the last few years. Azerbaijan was okay. So Portugal's the standout one. Armenia is probably my next favorite. And then the other 3 are kind of just, they're all about the same. Like, Georgia would probably be a little bit above the other 2 just because I can appreciate that English aspect of it. And it's, the music's really, really good and it's kind of standout too. Still not a top 10 finisher, I don't think. The only one of these 5 I think that actually could make it into the top 10 at the grand final is Portugal's entry. I don't know. Azerbaijan and Greece are kind of, I like Greece's entry better than Azerbaijan. So I put, of these 5, Azerbaijan would be the lowest one for me. So Portugal, Armenia, Georgia, Greece, and then Azerbaijan in terms of these 5. That's how I would place them. So now there's an official video out of the 37 songs. So I might do a reaction to those coming up soon. I've done it before in previous years, but I would have to say that still at this point in time, I am down for Loreen to win for Sweden. Now, somebody pointed out there is a minor issue going on, and I say minor because so far only one minor news outlet has even said anything about it. Something about Loreen has been asked to prove where she's living because of some tax thing or whatever, and she could be in trouble for it. I don't know. It's not been covered by any of the Eurovision press at time of recording of this or anybody else. So I don't think it's going to be an issue. So I still think that Sweden will win Tattoo. And it's not just because of the fact that Loreen is so popular and, won with Euphoria in 2012. The song is good. Like, it's an amazing song. Yeah, the lyrics are kind of like, some people say they're basic, but the performance element, the music itself, the whole song as a whole thing is absolutely stunning. And I really hope they figure out something to bring that staging to Liverpool this year because, man, Loreen is super, super amazing, and her performance is just art. I love it. Second is Queen of Kings by Alessandra for Norway for me. Third would be, of course, Czech Republic. I think it's still safe to say Czech Republic. I've seen Czechia, or is it Czechia or Czechia? I think it's Czechia. But Czech Republic, please comment in the comments. Let me know which is more accepted. I'll try to remember that. And my fourth favorite is Austria with Who the Hell is Edgar? I love that one. It's so catchy. It's just amazing. And my number five, I don't know. Like, I liked Ireland for so long. But maybe Portugal. Maybe. I got to go back and rewatch a lot of these because they're all over the place. There's some real big standout ones too, like Croatia's is super bonkers. And I really like Moldova, and I like Romania's performance. I think, I don't like to say it, but I think that Denmark will probably be a non-qualifier this year because the song is like the most generic sounding of all of them. If I were to choose one, I like it, but a lot of comments that I'm seeing on other sites, like a lot of them are not having it this year. And if not that one, then probably Poland will be the bottom because of the circumstances surrounding the choosing of that one and how it was allegedly fixed by the broadcaster. And from what I've been reading more and more, I'm inclined to agree. Like, that's not great. So Denmark and Poland will probably be the bottom two this year. I could be wrong, but I really think Sweden's going to win. So, all right. Thank you guys for watching once again. As I mentioned earlier, I have two radio shows. So I'm in Canada. I'm on the Pacific Coast. So Sundays from 2 to 4 p.m. Pacific time is Animé-d in Japan, Insanity on the Radio, 92.5 FM in town here. Or you can stream it at the x.ca or via the TuneIn or Stream It apps while it's happening. And then my Eurovision show is on Friday nights. And it's 10 p.m. till 11 p.m. Pacific time. It's called the Vision of Eurovision. And so today is Thursday at the time of recording this, where I am. So it'll be on tomorrow night at 10 p.m. And I'd love to hear from you guys what you think about these countries, these choices. And pretty soon we're going to be getting to Eurovision itself. And it'll be interesting to see who places where. So I will see you guys next time. Jamattane mina. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.